Hello, ladies and gentlemen.
Hello.
This is Lightning Advice with your hosts,
Tyron Viokolo.
and me, Ben Lightning. This is a new podcast which is going to be coming out to Dane website, and I think it's going to be quite a fun experience, don't you, Tyron?
Yes, it should be.
So, anyway, I think we should give a bit of an introduction to the amazing audiences at home.
All the beautiful people out there. My name's Tyron Viokolo. I am 16 years old. I'm in 6N1, and I like to play basketball, play video games. I'm quite an open person.
So anyway, on to your other host. My name is Ben Lightning. I am the amazing person from 6T2. I am going to be running for house captain soon, so you're going to be seeing me a bit more often in school, I think you'll find. I'm also going to be running for head student, so yet again, more things. I like sitting at my house, building Lego, making acquaintances and friends with people like Tyron here. I like just walking around and having a good time. That's what I'm all about.
If any of you recognise us, we were on a talent show back last year.
Tyrone should have won, but unfortunately didn't. And I shouldn't have won because of some trickery in the radio studios. Other than that, everything's all good now. So, Tyrone, what's the first agenda of today?
We'll be reading questions that you, the audience, has sent to us.
Right in front of us, we have an amazing array of emails sent from all walks of life in school. All 6 of them. Thank you for noticing the posters. I think since this is Lightning Advice, we should give some advice.
Yes. Well, the first question, why did you choose the name of the podcast?
I think you can answer this one, Tyron.
I can. So, it wasn't us that chose the name of the podcast. It was a friend of mine that I was talking to, asking, I can't think of a name for this amazing podcast that we're going to start up. Do you have any ideas? And she gave us the greatest name.
Can I just accentuate that she is a friend, isn't she,
Yes.
Tyron? She's quite a friend.
No more than a friend,
And nothing but a friend.
despite how I feel.
That's how we stole the name Lightning Advice
Yes.
from an innocent person throughout the corridors.
The next question is, why did you start a podcast? Well, that's a very good question.
That's a very good question. It's so good that Tyron's going to say, that's a very good question.
Well, this all started in a physics lesson. I had a friend, which I'm going to name
Rumpelstiltskin.
Let's not use that name.
Please, I think we should use Rumpelstiltskin.
Let's not. I need a name that I can pronounce.
I think we should use Dobby.
Dobby, that's a good name, Dobby. So, Dobby, my friend, he was complaining about how he was not offside in a football match.
Because we all know Dobby is amazing at football.
Yes. I told Dobby about a story on how someone had to let something go, otherwise it'll affect him in the future. And an amazing man named Jaquise gave me a great idea. He said, you should start a podcast, Tyron. You can tell all these stories on air.
Stars lit up in Tyron's eyes at this point. He saw just fame and glory throughout the world. He looked at other amazing podcasts, such as the Joe Rogan shows, like... Isn't that
And
right?
the Alex Jones show.
So anyway, Tyron, what happened after that?
Well, I went home, I think. And I was like,
He's not quite sure anymore.
yes. I was like, this is an amazing idea. You know what? I'm going to bring my best friend onto the show with me.
Please keep in mind, this is like Superman when he came home and was like, I can use this power to save the innocent.
You can change your lives, people. Just please send emails at lightningadvice@gmail.com.
Thank you. Anyway, I am that particular friend that Tyrone called upon in his hour of need. It was an amazing psychology lesson. I was just whipping out facts like there is nobody's business. I was gunning all of like questions down. I was really a pimp at that point. Anyway, Tyrone came over to me, just out of the blue, and said, do you want to do a podcast? And do you know what I said? I just went, yeah. And congratulations, that's why I'm right here now. It's an amazing story of love and friendship.
The final question from this fellow was, how do I listen to the podcast? So if you're hearing this now, then you probably know where to go. But if you want to tell your friends, this podcast will be broadcasted on the Dane Radio website and the Dane Radio YouTube channel.
Which will be created shortly and will overpass PewDiePie and T-Series within months.
Hopefully.
Anyway, I think that's our first email, is that?
Yes, it is.
Amazing. I only had to give out 100 cards. I think we should go on to email number 2,
Email
Tyron.
number 2. The first question is, what is the limit on betting machines?
Well, I've actually been listening to the radio recently, and this is actually quite a big issue. Because, as we've learned in psychology, I think it was, the reward system, and gambling is quite subjective to that. Like,
Yes.
gambling is an actual addiction, guys. Please do not do it,
Please.
or you will be gambling with your lives soon. Anyway, gambling isn't good. You can waste about £1,000 in only like a few minutes, and that's not quite good, is it?
No.
However, an amazing woman whose name I've completely forgotten has amazingly come out of the woodwork and said, "Yo, government, I think at £100 per play on the betting machines is not exactly the best, as you can
Yes.
tell. So I think we should lower it to a much more suitable." Can you guess the number?
£2.
£2. £2. Can you imagine that? Instead of wasting £1,000, you're only wasting your time. I think that's going to be much better for the addictive economy that we sort of have at the moment. Barring banning gambling, I think it's going to be quite helpful to the sport.
Yes. That's questions directly to you, Ben.
Ooh.
What is the idea behind the logo, since you created it and all?
Well, I was sitting in my study one day, because I have a study in my 10-story mansion, of course, and I was just, I know, I'll whip out Photoshop. Please, there are other brands available. Anyway, I was whipping out Photoshop and I was like, okay, we need an icon which is instantly recognisable. I think the most recognisable part of us is definitely our amazing mobility to talk.
Yes.
Nothing else. So I was thinking, I think we should have a real show of our friendship. So I decided a bro fist, because if we do it right now, did you hear that? I bet you did. Anyway, we did that, and emojis. One for me, one for Tyron, and an amazingly drawn Microsoft Paint red line underneath, just to accentuate it. I think the logo has turned out quite well. It's quite recognisable. I bet you've seen it in your form rooms. I hope you have. And I hope you've written it in, because apparently you haven't.
Yes.
And other than that, it's quite simple. You just think of an icon, think of what it represents, and just build it.
Very inspiring. The third question. What are you studying?
What am I studying? Well, my teachers probably don't know what I'm studying either, to be honest. I could be studying philosophy or I could be studying art. Depends on the situation. I do hires in philosophy, psychology, and physics. So the 3 Ps is quite amazing, I think, because it really gets to depth of, physics and philosophy. 2 things that should not go together.
Yes.
And I can really repeat, they don't. What about you, Tyrone? I know you're quite a cultured man.
I am quite cultured. So I'm studying higher film, higher psychology, and higher physics. It's quite a diverse range.
Film. That's different. I don't have that. What's that about?
Films about films.
Well, you've heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. Film is about films.
Basically, we watch a clip of a film, we analyse it, talk about mise en scène, mise en shot, and we write essays.
Oh god, the essays. I've heard many a story from people coming out of film and either tears of happiness or despair. Can you tell us why that is, Tyron?
Well, basically, they give us a clip of any film. We don't get to choose, just any film. We've recently done The Martian, which, in my opinion, and many others, isn't the best Ridley Scott film, especially when there's Alien and Blade Runner.
2 greatest films of all time, but nah. Let's go with The Martian featuring Matt Damon.
But anyway, so if we do get a bad film, it's kind of hard to analyse it, especially the first 3 minutes. But you get an amazing film. For example, Mad Max, Fury Road. Oh my, the opening scene was amazing. All I can say is it was amazing.
I've heard about that film. I've only seen clips of it. I think my favourite parts are definitely the big car explosions. I think my favourite part about the car explosions is a person you may have seen called the Doof Warrior. Have you heard about this man?
No, I have not.
He's the dude on the car with the guitar and about 800 speakers. And a flamethrower comes out of his guitar, because why not? And
might be something from Sonic Underground.
Perhaps we can talk about Sonic Underground in due time, since that's a rabbit hole that never ends. Anyway, Tyron does film.
Yes.
He enjoys film. Half the time.
Yes.
It's up to you, ladies and gentlemen, to guess which half.
Well, there's other halves where we plan scripts, take different kind of shots of different type of things, like a chair, and make it look meaningful.
Very photogenic chair, may I add.
That's probably my favourite part, because I'm more of a practical person, not more of an analysis person.
In film, do you do one of my favourite things in the world? Do you get to make little Lego movies?
We could if we wanted to, but I don't think they give us you've got to make a Lego movie, whether you like it or not.
Not the mentality everyone should have, but it seems to be the mentality we've gone for.
So Ben and I share a very special subject, I must say. Japanese.
Japanese. No. You don't do Japanese, remember?
I'm going to mention it, and I'll let parents listen to it, and I'm going to hear Japanese multiple times, and might be indoctrinated into thinking that I do Japanese.
Anyway, Tyron, I do Japanese.
So do I.
Oh, okay. Tyron and I do an amazing subject called Japanese. It's a Eastern language, as you may have guessed. If you know where Japan is, well done you. Extra brownie points.
We're very indulged in the culture of Japan. We like to watch anime, read manga, and
do strange motions outside of the school.
yes.
Namely, putting our arms behind our backs and running with our head down.
If you've seen Naruto, then you'll know what we're talking about.
You are a man of culture.
Yes.
Anyway, Japanese. It's a good lesson. It's one of my lows. For about 5 years now, I've been doing German, which, that was certainly something. I got a level 3 in that.
Don't get me started on the French. Anyway, let's go to the next question. This is the question that we saw is quite controversial. Favourite teacher in the school and why? We're not going to answer that question because...
actually, it's Justin Bettany. His ghost is always with me.
Going on to the next question. Favourite TV show as a child and why?
Well. I used to be one of those children who just woke up in the middle of the night, screaming like, "Where is my SpongeBob?" Because there wasn't enough hours in the day to watch, I must say. I remember having fond memories of going on to... Do you remember Boomerang?
Oh, yes.
Oh, that was so good. I just used to watch at things for hours. My eyes are permanently screwed up, but it was worth it. It was definitely worth it.
Same, I have to wear glasses now.
I luckily don't. I just see vague SpongeBob-shaped things in my peripherals. He's always coming up to me. If I don't run, he will catch me. What is Squidward, Tyrone?
That's a good question. Most people think that he's a squid.
I would think he's a squid.
But
Since his name is Squidward.
Yes, but he's actually an octopus.
Ooh. As you may see, he has 8 tentacles, which is a characteristic of the octopus.
I don't really see the difference, but you know.
Actually, there is a quite good difference. Octopi, thank you very much. That is the plural, because I'm a smart man. Anyway, octopi, they're much larger, about the size of a man. They have 8 tentacles, all of the same length, and a very large globular head and 3 hearts. Squid, on the other hand, are small, only about as wide as your hand, and they have 6 tentacles, 2 of which are about a foot long. And the giant squid is the most famous, and famous because it is giant. Anyway, what was we talking about? Oh yes, our
Favourite TV shows.
Favourite TV shows. Oh.
We're going to be going on a lot of tangents, so prepare.
I was going to say, should we get out of the bag, shall we, Tyron? Yeah. Oggy and the Cockroaches.
Yes. For all those who haven't seen the show,
watch it now.
Pause the podcast, go on Netflix, or
anything,
and watch it. It is the greatest show, despite it being French, ever made.
Okay, imagine the entirety of France has just, over its history, has just culminated in one TV show. After that, they just never tried again.
Yes. It's a beauty. It's Tom and Jerry.
But with more characters, more vigour, with more emotion.
They don't speak at all, but...
we know what they're saying. In our hearts, we know.
We can understand their feelings. We know when they're sad, happy, angry.
Scared. Anything.
Let me tell you a story about this one episode. One episode out of...
hundreds of amazing episodes.
I tell you. He wakes up one morning, Valentine's Day. He decides to grab a treat from his little chocolate box because he doesn't have a girlfriend.
This is Oggy, by the way.
Yes. He eats it. Next thing he realises, he's a cockroach.
I know.
Well,
plot twist.
Oggy's originally a cat who, tries to get rid of the cockroaches because they steal his food from the fridge in his giant kitchen.
And it's amazing how you can make hundreds of episodes just on that one premise.
But my favourite character is probably Jack.
Oh, Jack. Jack is Oggy's friend, who is a green cat.
Yes. He tries to be cool. Just like I try to be cool. But it never works.
Just like Tyron.
Yes.
Anyway, audiences, I do hope you watch Oggy and the Cockroaches. It is definitely our favourite TV show of all time, perhaps.
Yes. I'm sorry we couldn't get to all your questions. We kind of went on a tangent on Oggy and the Cockroaches.
Please watch.
Yes, please. So, to end off our lovely first episode of the podcast, please send emails to lightningadvice@gmail.com.
Next week, we're going to perhaps have a guest, have definitely more questions, and perhaps play a few games.
Before we leave, please, for any updates and news, follow Dane Radio on Instagram.
On YouTube. On Patreon. Everything.
We don't have a Patreon, but...
we will. We will.
No, we won't.